The video game industry, in particular, the AAA video game industry. When I say AAA, I mean like, the big games you see, the games from Electronic Arts and Ubisoft and 2K games, the Grand Theft Autos, the Maddens, the big releases, Borderlands, the industry is completely broken. They've been taking advantage of gamers' passion for far too long. And there used to be a time, I know this is crazy, unless you're an old head like me, there used to be a time where you would pay $60 and you would get the entire game. And that game may have a glitch or two in it, but you also, those were fun back then. They were so rare. You would actually seek them out. Nowadays, you pay $60 for a game, you get a game that's broken on day one, that doesn't run right for several months, and you're far better off buying it 6 months down the road when it's 50% off on a Steam sale. These are the rules that I live by when I buy video games. I don't buy them unless they, on the day they come out, unless they are absolutely, I am a diehard fan of it. Now, Randy Pitchford, who is in charge of Borderlands. Now, the Borderlands series is much beloved. I'm not going to pretend like this game hasn't sold tens of millions of copies. I'm also not going to pretend like it's not a good game. I played Borderlands 2, really liked it. Borderlands 3, I didn't like it as much. It was okay. All these games I bought when they were like $5 or $10 though. Now they said, so on May 13th, he made this announcement. I'm so very excited for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm even more excited to bring Borderlands 4 to this incredible magical machine. And many of you know Randy Pitchford loves his magic. Someone replied, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constantly increasing the price tag. You're the CEO. You have some say when it comes to price with your publisher. Here's the thing. There's been an undercurrent of conversation from these video game publishers that game prices need to go up, which is simply not true. Back when you got $60 for a game, you used to get the whole game. Now you pay $60 for a game, then you pay another $20 for the rest of the game that you should have got for the $60. Then they sell you some online live service. Then they sell you microtransactions. Then they sell you. So let's not pretend that $60 to $70 is the only money they get from most gamers. I mean, heck, they still charge $70 for Call of Duty, and they have endless skins and endless things. Now, I've never bought any of these things, but 20% of the gaming community does. And if you want to buy these things, that's fine. It's just this notion that the gaming industry is just, oh my God, we have no choice. We're going to have to raise the price to $80 is ridiculous. If you want $80, give me $80 in value. Now, I admit there are a few games I might be crazy enough to pay $80 for. I can't think of one right now, but there are series like Final Fantasy that, I really, really love. If there was a new Final Fantasy Online expansion that came out and it was slightly more expensive, I'd probably buy it. We know Grand Theft Auto 6 has been floating around the $100 game. They're going to be $80, $90, $100 game. And we know some people are going to buy that at that price. So customer says, hey, it better not be $80. He replies, A, not my call. That's BS. He's the CEO. Of course he could have say there. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight on Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach. I found a way to make it happen. Well, when you're a kid, okay, and you have a part-time job and you have no expenses, you can spend all your money on video games if you want. I also am willing to bet that Starflight on Sega Genesis was a complete game when you paid $80 for it. And you got everything. There were no constant updates. You didn't have to update your Sega Genesis so you could play the game. You didn't have to delete other games off your Sega Genesis so you could install the game, right? And also, $80, that doesn't seem right. Now, I do remember, games costing 60 or in some cases 70 But I'd be willing to bet that Starflight for Sega Genesis was never $80 in 1991. I just don't believe that. Let me look right now. Let me see. Sega Genesis game prices 1991. This was $149 for the console with Sonic. In 1991, the cost of the Genesis with one game. 28 years later, a Genesis with 39 more games is $100 cheaper. I mean, yeah, they're talking about, the Sega Mini or whatever. You had some games at this price. Let me see here if I can find. These are retro video game prices. Price guide, maybe. These are just, by the way, the game nowadays, what game is it called? Starflight. The game now is probably worth $3. Let's see. Starflight. There's a lot of S games. Sports here. Starflight, $13. Obviously, this is many years later. This is a used copy. But if we could see even, there's a sticker on here for $9.99. They want $38. But again, he picked a random game that was really expensive at that time. And, kids nowadays aren't living, rent free. Those aren't the people that are buying the game, right? Aside from the obvious problem with your post, shout out to my my graphic designer, holy cow, video editor. You're assuming that people simply don't have the money. We do. We're just not spending that much of it on your overpriced game. P.S. Don't worry about the backlash. I'm sure the internet will forget. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You accelerate the end of this. Draw all these woke characters. Deleted the second post because I realized it was a bit cringy. I've played Borderlands since 2009. Bought every Headhunter DLC, Season Pass, everything since 2009. Real fan. F off, Randy. Dang, we're not paying $80 for Borderlands game fully knowing you'll do multiple season passes that cost another $100, and you'll probably sell weapon skins too. This has to be one of the worst CEO replies from recent memory. I mean, who can forget that It Just Works? That's one of the ones that are really bad. But I mean, this is very, very entitled. These people feel entitled to your money. And yeah, some hardcore fans are going to pay the $80 because they don't care. This is the only game they play. They live for Borderlands. Fine. But the response here is, he says he responded to us saying, by the way, he's blocked me a long time ago. After they got rid of the voice of Claptrap. Here is him weaselly answering it.
I don't know. And that is the truth. I'll hit it. I'll hit it straight on.
No, you won't.
And it's an interesting time, right? We've got the on one level, we've got a competitive marketplace where people.
What he's saying is, on one hand, we can charge you more money.
Want to, or the people that make those choices want to sell as many units as possible, and they want to be careful about people that are price sensitive. So there's some folks that don't want to see prices go up, even the ones deciding what the prices are.
Yeah, but Randy, you're going to have 100 add-ons to this game.
There's other folks accepting the reality that game budgets are increasing, and there's tariffs for the retail packaging. And
oh my God. So now he's going to blame tariffs for the boxes of a game that literally nobody buys in the store. About 7 people are going to buy physical copies of Borderlands. What is he talking about? And by the way, let me ask you this. Did paying Keanu Reeves millions of dollars to voice his character in Cyberpunk made that game better? I don't think so. Is paying Randy Pitchford $25-30 million a year, is that making the game better? I don't think so. It is not our fault you don't know how to control your budget. The idea that all this crap they pour into these video games the celebrity endorsements, all this stuff. You don't need that stuff. Nobody needed that demonic Megan Fox to advertise the Diablo game. Some dork at Blizzard who wanted to fap to it paid for that. And then they want to pass that cost on to the customer. Nobody needs that. Make a good game. You don't need... Look, I'm in the middle of one of the best games I've played in 5 years. The Clara Obscura Expedition 33. That game was $40. 40.
Like, it's getting gnarly out there, you guys. Borderlands 4 has more than twice the development budget than
That's not our fault. That's not our problem.
Borderlands 3. More than twice. The truth is, I don't know what the price is going to be.
He knows. It's going to be $80, $79.99. Plus, they're going to want season passes. Plus, they're going to take parts of the game out and sell it back to you later as add-ons. I don't mind sequels. Even if you look at like Far Cry, right? Far Cry 5. They come out with New Dawn. I feel like it was $30 or $40. It was like a 20-hour add-on. It wasn't really worth the price. But at least it was a totally new storyline that you could tell probably wasn't pulled from the game. That's not what most of these people do. Most of these people pull a section out of the game and want to sell it back to you later as DLC.
I do know that we will be opening pre-orders soon, TM, and that will be when the price is set.
He knows the price.
That Borderlands 4, here's the philosophy we have. Whatever the price is, we're entertainers.
Oh,
yes,
here we go.
We want to get more resources so we can make bigger and better games. There's a reason why Borderlands 4 is so awesome. It's because you guys showed up and supported Borderlands 3. And we had the budget, so we could more than double the budget and feel confident in that. And that's awesome. When the revenue comes in, we could spend it to make bigger games and better games. As artists, we want everybody to have it. You know, we want to make...
I don't believe you. I'm not saying you have to sell your game for free. I'm just saying this is BS. Come on, Rando. You know the game's going to be $70 or $80. You're testing the market. You'll probably come in at 70 instead of 60, and then you'll have some super deluxe moron edition for 100. We know this, Randy. Stop pretending like you don't. If you look at the replies under this, of course. So Borderlands 4 budget is $300 million. Good response. Get these crybabies whining about $80 games out of here. If consumers buy it, so be it. If they don't, prices will come down naturally. And they got ratioed. I mean, the fanboys are going to fanboy. Look, there are games that I fanboy for. You know, this is a perfect response. It should have been left at this. Your second response is receiving backlash because of the price of the game, but because of the wording. Every game's going to be $80 by this time next year. However, fans of Borderlands want blah, 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 blah. I mean, maybe he's right. But what I can say is calling us real fans, only real fans will pay the price we demand, is entitled, swarmy, and lame. I'll wait for Borderlands 4 to be $20 on Steam like most people. I will not be paying $80 for this game. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.